You made the prettiest girl in school, who loved you, wait 10 painful years. In that time, she went from a naive teenager to a successful woman, while you still looked exactly like the boy you used to be. 10 years ago, after high school graduation, the young and innocent you made a cliché promise. You'd love her forever and make her happy. Blushing, she agreed to spend her life with you. But the very next day, you vanished without a trace and disappeared from her world. She searched for you like crazy, but you never appeared before her again. Because the day after confessing your love, you were accidentally transported 10 years into the future. To you, only one day had passed. To everyone else, you'd been gone for a full decade. Touching your still young face, you finally accepted that this was all real. On June 8, 2015, after finishing the college entrance exam, you went to the store below your crush's apartment to buy water. You fell, and when you opened your eyes, it was 2025. The surroundings were nothing like you remembered. Instinctively, you headed home, but finding your way back wasn't easy. Too much had changed. By the time you found the place, the sun was almost down, but it wasn't really home anymore. The old building had been demolished years ago, and the area was now a huge park. You went to the corner store and called your dad, but he was still as unreliable as ever. His number barely worked 10 years ago, and now it had been disconnected. To your surprise, the store owner was still there, staring at you in shock. No way, my eyes really are getting worse. It's been 10 years. Even little Moo should be grown by now. Uncle Jang? You hesitated. 10 years later, the owner was still the same man. But the once energetic uncle now had gray at his temples. Uncle Jang, did my dad ever come back? Your dad searched everywhere for you but couldn't find you. Later, I heard he moved overseas with a woman. There was also a girl who kept coming here to ask about you. I think she was from your high school. That girl was really devoted. Your whole body jolted with excitement. Was she a big-eyed girl with a beautiful smile? I think so. She came for years, maybe 4 or 5. After this place became a park, I never saw her again. She kept asking where you'd gone and whether I'd seen you. I always wondered what she was to you. She looked for you even more often than your dad did. But when Uncle Jang looked up again, the 18-year-old boy was gone. You were already sprinting down the street. You thought of the girl who was always laughing around you. You'd promised to protect her forever, then vanished the next day. How badly must that have hurt her? But before long, you got lost again. The city had changed so much in 10 years that you had no idea how to reach her house. Then her voice echoed in your mind. Xiaomu, I'll always believe in you. It filled you with strength again. At sunset, after asking countless people for directions and relying on your faint memory of the city, you finally found her home. You gathered your courage and knocked, but when the door opened, it wasn't the girl you remembered. It was an elderly woman. She told you the girl had moved away years ago, but had returned several times, asking whether a tall, skinny boy had ever come looking for her. Crushed, you walked away from the old house like a lost soul. Seeing homeless men asleep under a bridge, you felt completely hopeless, and figured you might spend the night there with them. Then you heard a familiar voice. Your deadened spirit instantly snapped back to life. You jumped to your feet and looked toward the sound. A show was playing on the giant screen across the street. The host was interviewing Liu Ruyan, the youngest female CEO of Jimei Group. Your mind went blank. You never imagined this would be how you'd see her again after 10 years. You memorized every detail about her, then let out a deep breath. She'd become incredible. Just then, the host on the screen asked another question. A woman as beautiful as you must have had plenty of boys chasing you in school. Did you ever date back then? Liu Ruyan sat cross-legged on the couch. For once, she hesitated, then gave a soft laugh. Unfortunately, no one ever pursued me, and I never dated in school. Only you knew she was lying. Just yesterday, she'd sworn she'd love you forever. But for her, that was 10 years ago. You felt the 50 yuan in your bag that had traveled through time with you, then hurried to an internet cafe. You quickly found Liu Ruyan online and started reading everything you could about her. Your heart suddenly raced when you saw the husband field in her profile was blank. Maybe someone forgot to fill it in, or maybe she'd never married. Either way, you couldn't help feeling secretly relieved. Luckily, her public email was listed online. After hesitating for a long time, you sent her an anonymous message. Meanwhile, in a huge bedroom, Liu Ruyan leaned tiredly against the headboard and rubbed her temples. For days, she'd had a strange feeling that someone was about to appear. Suddenly, her phone lit up with a new email. She normally ignored messages sent to that public address because it was full of spam. But something felt different today, so she opened the newest anonymous email. The message was simple. Have you ever loved someone? Do you still love him? Do you have a boyfriend now? Will you answer me? Not long after leaving the internet cafe, you heard someone calling to you from a distance. Uncle Jang, why are you here? So it really is you, Xiaomu. I've been looking all over for you. Before your dad left, he told me that if I ever saw you, I had to stop you. He left an envelope and a bank card with some money on it. He told me to give them to you if you ever came back. I've kept them in my safe for 10 years. I thought I'd never see you again. Uncle John couldn't help smiling. Your dad said his overseas address is in the envelope. Use the money to settle things here, then fly over and find him. Looks like your old man finally made it big. But for some reason, you couldn't feel happy. 10 years had passed, and your dad already had a new family overseas. At Uncle Jang's home, you looked around the old store while lost in thought. Nothing had changed, not even the washing machine from 10 years ago. Then you noticed a rusty metal box. You carefully reached out and brushed away the thick dust. Inside were rows of colorful folded stars. Uncle Jang, where did this box come from? Oh, now I remember. The girl you dated in high school threw it away. The day your building was demolished, she tossed this box of stars into the rubble. That must have been 7 or 8 years ago. You spun around and stared at Uncle Jang. What was she like back then? She was heartbroken. I kept telling her not to throw away such a beautiful box. With all those stars inside, it had to be a gift from someone important. It would have been a shame to lose it. But she was determined and wouldn't listen. I couldn't bear to see it thrown away, so after she left, I brought it home. I never saw her again after that, so the box stayed with me. If you hadn't mentioned her today, I would have forgotten all about it. As if fate had planned it all, your thoughts drifted back to January 2013, beside the big locust tree at your high school. Students were laughing and messing around nearby. Ruyan, Happy New Year! Today's our 1-year anniversary. This is for you. There are 366 stars inside. I hope that through all 365 days of the new year, you'll shine just like them. You're so dumb, can't you count? Why did you fold 366 stars for 365 days? Because the extra star is me. It means I'll be with you every single day from now on. She happily accepted it and promised to take good care of it from that day forward. Because one of these stars is you, I'll never lose this box. In 2025, dim light filled the dark old building. The rusted metal box was battered and fragile, as if it might break with the slightest touch. Inside, you found several crumpled, yellowed notes. You disappeared right after making that promise. You're dead. I'm throwing you away. I really mean it this time. Goodbye forever. That night, you borrowed Uncle Jang's computer because you desperately wanted to see whether she'd replied to your anonymous email. You knew the message had been stupid, but with trembling hands, you opened the inbox. Your heart leaped when the mail icon flashed. You clicked it immediately. Guess, coward, if you want the answer, come ask me to my face. What does that mean? Did she actually recognize me? You stared at the screen, your finger hovering over the mouse. Your sweaty palm nearly slipped, and all you could hear was your heart pounding. She knew. She had to know. Coward was what she always called you in high school. Whenever she cornered you by the classroom's back door to demand your homework and you turned red, unable to speak, she'd rise on her toes, smack the back of your head, and laugh. Xiaomu, you coward! Without another thought, you grabbed the rusty metal box and ran outside. The warm, early summer wind hit your face as you raced beneath the streetlights. The stars rattled softly inside, sounding like her footsteps following behind you all those years ago. At the entrance of Jimmy Group's headquarters, a teenage boy stood clutching a metal box. Sir, please show your appointment confirmation. As the guard stopped you, your eyes were fixed on the familiar figure by the elevators. Liu Ruyan was listening to her assistant's report, her profile cold beneath the ceiling lights. 10 years had carved away the baby fat from her face and replaced it with a distant, guarded air. I'm here to see Liu Ruyan. Your voice tightened, and the sharp edge of the box dug painfully into your palm. The guard frowned and was about to speak, when the elevator doors opened with a ding. Liu Ruyan looked up and spotted you through the crowd. She stopped dead. Her assistant kept talking, but she heard nothing. She only stared at you, a storm raging in her eyes beneath a layer of ice. Your heart nearly stopped, and you instinctively stepped back. But she was already walking toward you. Her heels clicked sharply against the floor, each step striking your nerves. The lobby slowly fell silent as everyone turned to watch. Liu Ruyan said nothing. She stopped 3 steps away. Her faint perfume had replaced the cheap strawberry shampoo scent you remembered. Her eyes were like a frozen lake, and in them, you could see your own disheveled reflection. Who are you? Her voice was colder than it had sounded on the screen, with a barely noticeable tremble. Your throat tightened as you opened the box. The stars spilled across the polished floor. One rolled to her feet. She glanced down, and her lashes trembled violently. I'm Xiaomu. You picked up the star and held it out, your hand shaking badly. Look, this is what you promised you'd keep forever. She didn't take it. She stared at your face, then suddenly smiled. It was faint, but it cut like broken glass. The Xiaomu I knew died in the demolition rubble 10 years ago. The words hit you like lightning and you stumbled back. I didn't, She stepped closer, suddenly raising her voice and drawing everyone's attention. You just what? Got bored and hid for 10 years? Or did you enjoy watching me wait for you like an idiot? Her eyes turned red, but she bit her lip hard and refused to let the tears fall. I traveled through time. On June 8th, 2015, I fell at the store below your apartment and woke up here. To me, it was only yesterday that I promised you forever. But she cut you off, her voice icy. Sir, I don't care whether you're after money or something else. Please leave now. She turned to go. You grabbed for her hand in panic, but she jerked away. The metal box crashed to the floor and the notes inside fluttered out, landing at her feet. They were the notes she had written.